Welcome to Property Deconstructed. We have a collective wisdom of all things property and real estate based in Victoria. My name's Mark Errichiello. Also have co-host Pat Panetta that you all know. And today we're joined by very special guests and people that have been an influence in my own personal real estate career and life. We have Mr. Randolph Clements, who's a Managing Director and Master Franchisor of Raine and Horne Victoria, and my own father, Tony Errichiello, who I've worked with for many years under the Raine and Horne banner as well, before becoming an independent buyer's advocate and vendor's advocate with Master Advocates. So welcome and thank you for coming on the show and joining us here in the room today. We've got podcast and videocast going out. So Randolph, thanks for coming.
Pleasure, Mark. You'll go a long way in life calling me Mr. Mr. is normally for a specialist of some medical term, but thank you.
Well, a specialist in the real estate profession, and Dad, Tony Errichiello as well. Thanks for coming on and joining us. So today we'll have a few episodes that we'll run over, really looking at real estate over the decades and what's remained consistent and foundations and the benefits and highlights of being part of a franchise brand and how things have changed as well. So I guess Randolph, a question for you would be for the listeners, what is one of the key aspects that has remained a consistent foundation over the years in real estate as far as professional practice, marketing, the main aspects of operating the business and service?
Well, in my case, Mark, it's been nearly 5 decades. And I can certainly say one thing, that the most often people do ask, what is the secret to success in any form of business, but in this case, real estate? There is no magical secret, really. I often tell young people starting up that one of the most important things is to keep your promises. And often they relate to the large promises. The large promises people don't let you get away with. But the small promises are the ones that you should be aware of. You make small promises, you follow up on those little promises. And for example, when builders put properties up, the building goes up really quick. They're all the big stuff. But then come the fit-outs, the small, finicky little bits that often, there are many, many successful and many, many great builders right around Australia. But the ones that let themselves down is those little promises, those little gaps, the little fillers, the little architraves that have got to be done that then take 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and people get frustrated, and that's when you get a bad name. The same thing in real estate. All the small promises, the after-sale service, all that. Nothing has changed throughout the 5 decades. Nothing has changed. The serviceability, what has changed, of course, is technology.
Yeah. No, that's a great answer. And even the pointing out the post, construction in building analogy or post-service, that's where everything can come apart because, especially with real estate, it's a long-term investment or sale, and if you see the results in time, if the property's actually, if they're investing or purchasing or selling the property, you see how that's actually performed over time. Tony or Dad, I'll have to get used to that. For the show anyway, I'll call you Tony. As far as the sales practice as well, it's probably close to 5 decades too, and you were many years franchisee under Raine and Horne also.
And E.J. Doherty at the time.
E.J. Doherty.
Yes, it's gone back 40-odd years. What Randolph said is very true. It's the small promises you make, which people overlook. But when you actually put it into place and you keep your promise, the vendor or the client will appreciate that more. That's the extra mile you go. The big promises are there in your face. The small promises are the ones that people overlook. And when you do keep your promise, that's more value in as far as your reputation over the years.
So the small promises, one of them is communication.
Yes.
Communication to your client, buyer, vendor, whatever, even all your suppliers, to your staff. Communication is still number one. That doesn't change. Constant communication.
Yes. And that's an art, face-to-face. I heard over the years, that belly-to-belly communication and skill. That's an art form in itself
Well,
that's
you've got to
being
be careful
lost.
of the belly to belly now.
Yeah, the
belly to belly.
Yeah, that you get into
Mimic's
trouble.
okay, not belly to
Yeah,
belly.
yeah, but in a sense, people can get lost in technology or fall into the easy path of a text message or an email when a phone call and that actual human contact, even post-COVID, that I think is being lost in a lot of industries, especially in sales and service or buyers advocacy and service. It's a communication industry, and you're giving them your knowledge or your
You know, Mark, over the time and even recently, I've had real estate operators, owners of their own business, often say to me that, real estate today is much tougher, it's much harder,
yes,
as compared to when we first started. Oh, I can certainly say, even 20, 30 years ago, when we didn't have the technology we've got today, 850 rental statements would hit my desk. We've got to fold every statement. We've got to sign every check individually, fold them, give them to a girl. She puts it in an envelope. That girl gives it to another girl. She puts a stamp on it. 850 of them. Then they take all of that mail down to the post office. Back in those days, money that you collected in property management, paid in cash, would be reconciled. Then you need to take that to the bank.
yes,
You need to have someone to go along with them with $20,000 or $30,000 worth of money, accompany them to the bank to get it done, to get it banked. Whereas today, all your property management statements are paid out electronically, one hit. Your banking is done in one hit. You have an open for inspection. You have 30 open for inspections, 20 people want a Section 22. The Section 22s are sent to every one of those 20 clients, one press of a button, because you've got all their details as they enter the open for inspection. It's all done on your iPad. You've got all their details.
yeah,
Back in the day, you'd have to phone every one of those 30 clients individually. If you got an offer, you had to go to their place, sign the offer up, get a deposit, go to the vendor. And that is the difference from then as compared to today.
No, and that's, yeah, and I remember...
It's labour intensive.
It was, and it's all, I guess, when people say it's so tough now, well, they didn't experience that, so you're commenting based on what you see, not what you experience. It's all perspective, isn't it? Perspective's reality. I remember starting my career at the merging period of the year 2000, realestate.com started to come in. It was still newspaper bound, printing, and my job was delivering the cash banking to the bank and depositing that. And I remember even sometimes you're holding 100,000 or more. But time with communication now is definitely faster. Like you said, press the button, Section 32 goes out, open for inspection, the registries. But yeah, it would have. I remember even with Tony, my father, back in the 80s, it would have been E.J. Doherty times, and even when you went into Raine and Horne franchises.
Well, back then, Tony was when I owned E.J. Doherty with a couple of other partners. Tony was a franchisee of ours as an E.J. Doherty office at our Glaston Park office.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you had car phones and pages and people calling home phones on your business card. So it was relentless to get your deals done, even late at night after hours. It wasn't like you could contact a client on a mobile phone during the day. You'd have to wait till they finish work.
Yes.
Yes, that was sort of my observation.
Or knock on their door.
One of my observations these days, Mark, and I'm not saying it happens each and every time, but there's a percentage of this happening. Vendors are choosing their agent, their negotiator, to negotiate the very important sale of their property, where it's a race to the lowest commission and the highest priced valuation.
Yes.
Right? You can often give up a very good negotiator on your part who could negotiate a very good deal for you, a man or woman who's got a lot of experience, and give it up for a low commission. You might get a 25-year-old, wears the best suit, has the best watch, great pair of shoes, drives a nice car.
No socks.
He's right behind a brand. He's right behind a very good brand with all the glossy brochures, right? And you think, I've got a great guy here. But you have no idea of the experience the person has got behind him.
Can be short-sighted.
As compared to having someone with 10, 15, 20, 30, even 10 years is ample experience as compared to a 30-year experience. But at least there's a bit of experience out there. Often people are going for someone that is got all the glossy stuff around, but not the experience. Low commission, offered a high price, he must be my agent.
Yeah, and it's for that short-term gain, save a few thousand, but then the experienced agent has experience in different technical negotiations or things that come up and can earn you thousands more, tens of thousands more in the outcome. Having a combination of both is good, the marketing side and training, but the experience is always what counts.
Well, talking about the difference in skillful negotiations to get a better price as compared to getting a lower commission.
Yeah.
A lower commission, let's say hypothetically a 1.5% commission and a 1.7% commission. That's only $200 in every 100,000.
Yeah.
So at around $1 million, we're talking $2,000. You should not give up an experienced agent for that $2,000 because in the negotiations, that experienced, skillful negotiator can easily make up $2,000. He could get you $10,000. He can get you $50,000, right? There's no guarantees in life, but experience certainly brings that to you as compared to thinking I'm ahead by $2,000.
Yeah,
and then the sale fails.
And you're paying for that knowledge and experience. That's what you're paying for. And so one question from even a franchise perspective for potential franchisees or potential agents that are looking at joining an agency that is a franchise. What and then I'll come to you, Tony, as well from the franchisee perspective. What are the key aspects like training, marketing, branding? Sharing collective experience and wisdom. What are the key benefits that the franchise provides compared to someone going out on their own as an independent in sales, especially when you need strength around you?
Well, look, Raine and Horne is a super brand, but there are many other very good brands in Australia. Very good brands. I'm not saying that Raine and Horne is the best, but we are one of the best. And what a franchisor in all of these networks, what franchisors do, they provide, in our case, there's some 30 plus training sessions at our head office in sales and marketing, property management, induction training sessions, CRM training sessions. But not only that, when you are part of call it a network, call it a club, you've got someone to talk to. If it's not the franchisor, you've got your fellow franchisees that you can lean on. You can share some ideas with. So I think from that point of view, if you're an independent, and there are many very good independent operators, who, by the way, we're searching for them and we want them to join our network. But I once had a franchisee who said, look, I'm the best in the area. Why would I need to join you? I said, well, that's why we're looking for the best. There's nothing wrong with that. But there are some very good independent operators doing an amazing job. They can save themselves all of that, franchise fees and marketing fees and all that. But when you talk marketing fees, if an independent had to go and get onto a radio ad, we recently did a radio ad, it was somewhere around $180,000. An independent can't do that on his own, whereas a network that has a marketing fund can go and do that. So these are the little benefits that you get.
Yeah, and the hidden benefits. From the franchisee perspective.
Well, the franchisee, the point of the matter is that you can either be on your own, closed doors, totally blindfolded, whereas when you join a franchise, you have got your colleagues, your other franchisees, franchisor supplies all the knowledge and software and marketing and stuff like that, which of course, and of course the referrals, whereas the private one person operator is not going to have. And I think the benefit, the small percentage you pay, certainly comes back to you many times over. So I found the experience, in the past, people would have a single shop, right? People don't walk by the shops and shop window any longer. It's all technology. internet. You got realestate.com, and it becomes again part of the opening the gates and opening the knowledge that you will not acquire on your own. So certainly it's a great benefit being part of a franchise.
Yeah, no, well said. And I think from my perspective, when I was inside in the past, some of the best relationships, the camaraderie, the sounding boards, and then also the training and materials too. And
the point is that there are, like I said, very good, very successful independents, and many of them do their own training, and they're very good at their training. But the point here is that all of that takes time. Now, if you've got a franchisor that takes care of all that and frees you up, that's that extra time that you go and spend in the marketplace and pick up more listings.
Yeah, tried and tested.
As they say, you can't sell what you don't have. So you can get out in the marketplace, utilize that time, list more properties. Let the franchisor handle the training sessions. Let the franchisor deal with the marketing side of things.
Wonderful. No, thank you for sharing. And we've actually wanting to keep you on for an extended episode, so this will go out in 2 episodes to the audience as well, and more when you come back. If you can stay on for a bit longer, we'll expand more into actual practice and current outlook in the market and what you see happening in the marketplace, as well as some advice and shared wisdom from your years in property for policymakers.
Yeah,
thank you.
good idea.
All right, thanks, Tony and
Pleasure.
Randolph. We'll speak again soon.
Thank you for having us, Mark.
Welcome.